Good day, distinguished lecturer. I am Anazamak Akines, and I am the group leader for Pharmacology Group 2 GSC 212 presentation. And I am here with my colleagues. We'll be doing the presentation together. Today, we are going to be talking on the introduction to logic, the fundamental laws of logic, the types and importance of logic, arguments and reasonings, type of arguments, inductive arguments versus deductive arguments, statements in logic, compound statements, and fallacies in logic. Introduction to logic. Logic is simply defined as a branch of philosophy that deals with correct reasoning and critical thinking. Logic is gotten from a Greek word which is called logos, and the word means reasoning and thinking or thinking. So Aristotle is referred to as the father of formal logic, reason being that he contributed greatly to logical reasoning. My colleagues will continue from where I stopped.
My name is Agboyin Rebecca. I'll be talking on the fundamental laws of logic. The three fundamental laws of logic are law of identity, law of contradiction, law of excluded middle. Law of identity. When a statement is true, it is true. For example, a book is a book. If X equals to 5, then X is 5. Law of contradiction. A statement cannot be true and false at the same time. Example, a door cannot be opened and closed at the same time. It is raining. It is not raining. The both statements cannot be true at the same time and place.
My name is Judith. I'll be talking on the third law of logic, which is the law of excluded middle. This law states that a statement can either be true or false without a third alternative between these two options. For example, the light is on, the light is off. This statement can either be true or false. There is no proposition that it is partly true or partly false.
I want to talk on the types of logic, which is the formal logic and the informal logic. The formal logic focuses on the deductive or formal collection of two statements without considering the actual context or claims made in such statement. While the informal logic focuses on the argument in the context of what is said, or not from rather the context that assesses and analyzes the argument that occur in natural language.
My name is Raji Rumezo. I'm going to talk about the importance of logic. Logic can be important in many ways in the society. It helps in critical thinking, it helps in problem solving, and it helps in communication.
My name is Okwesonwo Oluwasefunmi Fatima, and I'm here to talk about the importance of logic. Logic is very important in different areas of life. In critical thinking, logic helps individuals to think beyond ordinary observation and examine evidence carefully before arriving at conclusions.
My name is Ineoluwa. The evaluation of an argument is an important part of logic because it helps people to determine whether an argument is reasonable and convincing. In logic, an argument does not mean a heated quarrel of disagreement. Instead, it refers to a well-organized set of statements, where some statements known as premises are used to support another statement called the conclusion.
My name is Tibula. Inference can be explained as the mental process of arriving at a conclusion based on facts or available conclusion. Logical reasoning involves arranging and connecting premises in a way that supports a particular claim or conclusion.
My name is Esther, and there are different elements that make up an argument. 1, grant. It refers to the evidence given to support the conclusion. 2, claim is the conclusion that the speaker wants the evidence to accept. Warrant, that's explanation between the evidence and the conclusion. And backing refers to the extra support given to warrant.
My name is Abiodun. I'm going to say the types of arguments. We have the simple argument, the complex argument, deductive and inductive arguments. Simple argument. In simple argument, the claim is supported by one or two premises or grounds.
My name is Victor. I'll love to talk about the complex arguments. Complex arguments are borders and may contain several major premises, sub-premises, and additional conclusion. So they are found especially in debate and lengthy discussion.
My name is Favour Okadike. I'm talking on inductive arguments and deductive arguments. In inductive arguments, reasoning is based on observation, experience, and evidence gathered from real-life situations. However, inductive conclusions are usually under probability and not completely certain because they depend on the quality and quantity of evidence available. Deductive arguments are arguments in which the premises both support and guarantee the conclusion.
Deductive arguments guarantees conclusion. If the premise are true, the conclusion must be true. They are classified as valid or invalid, sound or unsound. Simply put, inductive is based on probability and deductive is based on certainty.
My name is Okoye Angelica. We're talking about deductive arguments. Inductive arguments are observation and experiences that supports conclusion, or that doesn't completely guarantee it. They are based on probability. They are either strong or weak, but it depends on the evidence available. My name is Shidangit Sunrat. There are two major forms of logical reasoning used in philosophy and critical thinking, arriving at conclusion based on evidence.
My name is Rajijin Abdulaziz. I want to talk about sentence and statements in logic. In logic, sentence and statements are not exactly the same. Although every sentence is a statement, not all statements can be regarded as a sentence, which leads to the meaning of a statement. A statement is a declarative sentence that can either be true or false. Questions, command, and exclamation are sentences, but they are not statements because they do not possess true value.
And I'll be talking on types of statements. One, we have simple statements. Simple statements only expresses one idea. For example, we have the boy is sleeping. Number two, we have compound statements. Compound statements are formed by combining two or more simple statements using logical connectives such as and, or, and if then from the reference early 2000.
Trouble keeping follow. I want to talk on the other types of statements. Negation of statements. Statement may be affirmative or negative. Example, affirmative, the girl is in class. Negative, the girl is not in class. The other type, symbolic representation of statements. In symbolic logic, lowercase such as P, Q, R, and S are used to represent simple statements.
I'm going to talk about the definition of compound statements. Compound statements are statements formed by joining two or more simple statements together with logical connectives. These statements are important in logical reasoning and analysis.
I'm talking about types of compound statements. One, conjunction statements. Conjunction statement joins two statements with and, only input parts are true. Two, disjunction. Disjunction statement joins with either or, only true when at least one part is true. Three, conditional statement. Conditional statement uses if then. False only when the first part if is true and the second part then is false.
I'm going to talk about logical laws. We have law of association, law of permutation, law of idempotence, law of double negation. For law of association, the placement parenthesis does not affect the truth value of in conjunction and alternation. For law of commutation, changing the arrangement of component does not affect the truth value of conjunction, alternation, or biconditionals.
Yeah. My name is Victoria. I want to talk about the fallacies in logic. A fallacy is an error in reasoning. Fallacy may appear convincing, but they are logically wrong. There are types of fallacies, which are formal fallacies and informal fallacies. Examples of fallacies include affirming the consequence, denying of antecedent, equivocation, and amphiboly.
My name is Ikman. I'll be talking on the types of fallacies. We have the formal fallacy and the informal fallacy. The formal fallacies, these are errors due to the structure or arrangement of arguments rather than the content. We have the fallacy of affirming the consequence, fallacy of denying the antecedent. Then we have the informal fallacies. These are errors due to irrelevant thinking, carelessness, and they're classified into four. We have the fallacy of relevance, fallacy of ambiguity, fallacy of weak induction, and fallacy of presumption.
My name is Shola Morenikeji. I want to explain the examples of fallacy. Number one, affirming the consequence. It simply means assuming the cause is true because the result happened. Let's talk about equivocation. It is using one word with different meaning in an argument. And then composition, assuming what is true for part is true for the whole.
My name is Olamide. In conclusion, logic is very essential in our daily life because it helps us think critically by allowing us to analyze our information and make sound reasoned decisions. Beyond that, logic also improves us how we communicate and solve problems, and it enables us to express our ideas clearly and approach challenges in a structural way. Overall, developing our logical thinking makes us more effective, confident, and rational individuals.
My name is Ademiran. Logic helps people identify whether an argument is valid or invalid by letting them consider the reason behind it rather than just the conclusion, and this promotes critical thinking and rational decision making. Also, understanding fallacies help people to avoid common errors in reasoning, such as hasty conclusion or emotional arguments, leading to a clearer and more effective communication.